Okay, so before we went to the PTF briefing, we're having a conversation on the World Awareness Day, on the Awareness Day, World Day for Elder Abuse. It's an Awareness Day celebrated every 15th of June. And we have Dr. Emem Omokaro in the studio earlier. And thank you so much for your patience. She's still here with us. Thank you. So before we joined the PTF, you were answering a question on loneliness, which is one of the psychological problem, elderly people face as a form of abuse. How can that be addressed?
First, I have to put it in context of pre-COVID-19 and during COVID-19.
Okay.
Pre-COVID-19, yes, you because of living arrangement and frankly because of ageism, that stereotypical attitudes, the prejudices, negative attitude about older persons leading to discrimination and isolation. So the older person actually could be living in a family arrangement with family members, but is invisible. Of course, you know about the technology, the digital divide, where everybody's on their phone, everybody's on their Facebook, and the older person is there, totally isolated and separated. And of course, also the attitude that older persons really cannot learn, they cannot adapt, they have nothing to offer, so they are always cut out and left out in activities. And now we see during COVID-19, because of the stringent measures to save life, you see the lockdown and the social distancing, especially with the toll of COVID-19, especially on older persons. Now that's separation. So now COVID-19 has intensified that loneliness, really deepened that isolation. And like you said, it's very distressing. And it leads to some kind of functional decline, distressing psychologically. So did you ask the question, what should somebody do?
Yes, like how can that problem be addressed? Because loneliness is something everybody faces, but for them.
Now, generally, that problem can be addressed by policy responses that will encourage social engagement. For instance, the president in 2018 signed the Senior Citizen Center Act, which commends the building of senior citizen centers across the country. That would be one way of addressing isolation and loneliness. And then I know that act now empowers the Director General to now develop social interaction programs, sports programs, and all kinds of activities. So you can imagine if you have such a center, now that is a respite for older persons. And then you have community interventions. You have the churches, the mosques that should develop programs to promote social engagement, and of course families. The fact that somebody is old does not mean that somebody cannot learn. We have lifelong learning opportunities. So these are ways that we can still have and embrace our older persons, and when we realize that they still have a lot to offer, they are caregivers, they have a well of wisdom, they are experts in all their fields. So when we now realize that they still have a lot to give, then we now integrate them into society.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emem Omokaro. I wish you can continue, but we're pressed for time. And keep up the good work with what you're doing. We all hope to age gracefully, and it's a collective responsibility to support and help and protect our elderly. Thank you. She's the Chief Executive of the Dave Omokaro Foundation.